guys? It's Julian and welcome back to the Juice Note. And today on the Juice Note, we'll be talking about Joe Budden and Drake.
Spend a day to get my mind blown. Dress it up and go to Nassau. 200 miles on the dash. Gotta roll a pound up a gas. Switch the lanes in the Grand Rapids.
Today, guys, we'll be talking about Joe Budden and Drake. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have already heard about what's going on with Joe Budden and Drake. If you're not, you must live under a rock. So now what's happening is we have these two hip-hop artists. Well, I'm not going to say two because at the moment, only one hip-hop artist is dissing the other. So Joe Budden has released a diss track aimed in towards Drake. The name of the diss track is Making a Murder. It's on SoundCloud and the link will be in the description down below. Now, Joe Budden is a hip-hop artist and I feel as though he is, I will say this much about him, he is more lyrical than Drake, but one thing he is not is more commercial than Drake. He's not more widely known as of now than Drake is, because at his own time he was widely known with Pump It Up and stuff, but not really right now. So now Joe Budden released this diss track because Joe Budden feels as though the Toronto rapper Drake dissed him on a song which everybody feels, not everyone, but majority of people feel that the song was not aimed towards him, but was aimed towards P. Diddy. So now this song is called 4 p.m. in Calabasas. This song will also be in the link in the description. It's on SoundCloud. This song was released on OVO Sound Radio, which is on Apple Music. Now this song, people feel as though he was dissing P. Diddy over the 0 to 100 beat. Now what happened with the 0 to 100 beat is Diddy had 0 to 100 beat. He came to Drake and asked Drake if he could write his verse for him on the 0 to 100 beat. Drake said okay, but Drake took the beat for himself and released 0 to 100 to what we all know now. Now the issue was that Diddy slapped Drake outside of the club, and it feels as though Drake didn't retaliate at the time, and now he's coming now with the 4 p.m. in Calabasas. Now the problem is that people are saying that Joe Budden's name, like Drake was taking clear shots at Joe Budden, and I feel as though I can't see it. Others have came to me and said, yeah, he's clearly dissing Joe Budden, it's clearly about Budden. But I'll be like, my issue is, what reason would Drake have to diss Joe Budden that I know of? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe Juice Note is not hip to it, because I'm not seeing what reason would Drake have to diss Joe Budden. But I would see, and everybody else is seeing, they even said on the Breakfast Club and stuff like that, that he was aiming at Diddy, and there's a reason for him to be aiming at Diddy, because Diddy did come at him with the slap outside the nightclub, and Drake didn't retaliate then. But Drake got, after he released his two albums, he came back now and he retaliated with 4 p.m. in Calabasas. And I've listened to the song multiple times and I've heard the lyrics, and I could tell at some points where he would be talking about Diddy, but I can't see at any points where he'd be talking about Joe Budden. Now, personally, me as a person, I don't really listen to Joe Budden. I'm not a fan of his music. But one thing I would say is that from things I've heard, other than Pump It Up, he is more lyrical than Drake, so he can write better than Drake. So if this does turn into a rap beef, he will be more lyrical than Drake in his songs and stuff like that. But that's not going to mean that he wins, because I'm not even going to say in this day and age, it's been like this forever. It's about who's more commercial, period, point blank. And Drake is way more commercial than Joe Budden, especially right now. Drake is way more commercial than Joe Budden at any time he's ever been an artist. Joe Budden's never been this commercial as Drake is right now. Drake is the people's champ. So let's say this: Joe Budden released Making a Murder, right? Let's say Drake releases another diss track. It doesn't even have to be fire, and the people are gonna love it and they're gonna say, oh, Drake killed Joe Budden. Let's just say that, because Drake, everybody loves Drake. So when you hear his song, they're gonna go with it. They're gonna go with him because he's the people champ. He's the commercial artist right now. He's #1 on the Billboard Top 100 song with One Dance, and he's #1 on the Billboard 200 for the albums with views. So that means he's the #1 in both categories in the world right now. He's #1. Who's gonna beat him? I want to know, and I know most definitely he's not gonna be Joe Budden. Because Joe Budden right now, he's known for, right now, I'm not saying that his whole career, but what he's widely known for right now is his podcast. And that's what he does. Like, he's cool or whatever. And people saying that Drake dissed Joe Budden because of what Joe Budden said about views in his podcast. I'm pretty sure Drake doesn't really care about that, because look at all the other people that have been talking about views since it came out. People that talk trash about him way more, like Charlamagne the guy on Breakfast Club. He said he's always talking trash about Drake. You heard what he said? He said, oh, I didn't really like it because it was Drake singing, which I knew he was going to do, but I was expecting more from him. Now, Charlamagne said worse than that. He said straight up and down, I didn't like it, period, point blank, because Drake was singing a lot of it. He said some other stuff I'm pretty sure was more hateful than that. All Joe Budden basically said was that it was a great album. No, it was a good album, but it could have been better, that he was expecting a little bit more from Drake. Now, Charlamagne said he didn't like it at all. It was a bad. Joe Budden says, oh, it was a good album, just could have been a little bit better. So tell me, which one would he attack first, and why would he attack Joe Budden just out of nowhere? And like the lyrics, when you listen to them, it's clear shots at P. Diddy, and I don't understand how people are hearing what they're seeing that makes them think that he's coming for Joe Budden. But if you feel as though he is attacking Joe Budden, leave a comment down below and tell me how you feel, because as I said, Juice knows not all about my opinion. See you guys Saturday for my Scandalous Saturday videos.
Why self a life, bitch? Yeah, fuck you, your mom, and everything else. Free to go. That's my best.
We in the club, hands in the air. Yeah, bottles over here. We in the club, VIP. Me and my girl, this is over there.